Welcome back to the Therapy Diaries. I'm your host Ashna Kalra, and today we have a very special guest who embodies resilience, transformation, and the power of reinvention. Joining us is Karanjeet Kaur Vora, known to the world as Sunny Leone. Sunny's journey is one of the most remarkable transitions of personal growth. Born in Canada to an Indian Punjabi Sikh family, Sunny has navigated multiple cultures and identities throughout her life, holding both Canadian and American citizenship. Sunny's career has been defined by bold choices and constant evolution. She's worn many hats: actress, model, and entrepreneur, each role adding a new dimension to her public persona. But beyond the spotlight, Sunny has shown a deep commitment to causes close to her heart. She's participated in the Rock and Roll Los Angeles half marathon to raise funds for the American Cancer Society, demonstrating her dedication to health and wellness causes. Today, we're excited to delve into Sunny's personal journey of mental wellness. As a public figure who has faced both admiration and criticism, navigated career changes, and balanced her professional life with personal growth, Sunny brings a unique perspective to our conversation on mental health. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. All right, so hey everyone, I'm Sunny Leone, and I'm so excited to be here. And yes, that was the most amazing intro I've ever heard in my life, so thank you.
As a mother of three, a wife, and a successful professional, how do you define balance in your life?
Me a lot is making sure I have structure through my day. My kids know when I'm going to be home, and I know when I'm going to be home. I know what's going to happen from, every single hour. I know that at this time it's lunchtime, then playtime, then homework time. So everything's kind of scheduled in that way. And I think my kids also appreciate that, because then when I'm home, they know that I'm home.
Yeah,
and
they know when you're going to be there, when you're not going to be there. They're prepared for it.
Right, and so then they like that, so it's good. And I get to tell them, well, when I'm home, and I'm not working. You don't see me sitting on the phone.
Can you walk us through a typical day in your life?
My life is completely different as far as my work goes, because nothing is ever the same. So every single day is completely different. But it usually starts around 6:50 in the morning when the kids get up and get them ready for school, their breakfast, their lunch. They're out the door by 7:40. Then get ready, go to the gym, and then start my day, whether it's a shoot or whether it's working at the office or working on our cosmetics or just so many different things, like flying somewhere usually.
Yeah. So can you tell us, how do you prioritize your various responsibilities?
How do I prioritize? Well, the kids always are at the top prioritizing. And it really, what we learned when they were born was that they kind of run our world, and we have to adjust to their schedule. And that's kind of how we prioritize. And of course, work is really important. That's something that I tell the kids all the time. I'm a better mother being a working mother than a mommy just being home. And I love those stay-at-home mommies, don't get me wrong, because it's a lot of work raising children.
I agree.
And there are so many different things. And a mother who's a stay-at-home mother is, I'm going to assume, not just sitting and doing nothing. She's doing their laundry, taking care of their schedules, organizing, doing so many different things. It really does take a lot of work. But for me, I think I need to be working to feel like a whole human being.
I know. I feel like the energies are dispensed in the right amounts in different places, right?
Yeah.
Because even for me, I think being a working mother makes it easier to kind of adjust your energies in different places instead of having it all in one. How do you define mental wellness for yourself, and how has that definition evolved since becoming a mother and balancing a very successful career?
I think before children, it was a lot easier, because if you have a hard day, you can just, go out, party. It's the next day and let bygones be bygones. But I think once you have children, things kind of change a little bit, because like we talked about priorities earlier, you can't really have such a bad day when you have kids, So I think one of the things when the boys were first born, because then all of a sudden we had 3 children. Niche was so easy. It was just one child. Yeah. That was like a walk in the park. But with 3, one of the things is I would go to hot yoga every morning. And at the end of that session, there was always that like laying down, and they tell you to just
Breathe in, breathe
relax,
out. Yeah,
yeah,
breathe,
and all that.
yeah.
And I literally would call that my church, and I would say, God, please give me the patience to have, or please give me the strength to have more patience, and like all the things that I wanted to ask God, to give me the strength to be. And I think that really helped out mentally to kind of pep myself up and say, okay, yes, 3 kids is overwhelming, but both,
And a successful career and a demanding career.
right. Yeah, it was really difficult. But I think at that time, both Daniel and I were really understood that me time was really important.
So, what's your daily mental health routine? I mean, what do you do to balance? See, end of the day, you go out, you shoot, you have your kids, you have your home, you have all these different aspects, right? But what do you do for yourself to like zen?
Um, I know it's going to sound cliche, so a lot of parents probably feel this way, but I swear when I see my kids and I get a little cuddle and a snuggle, and I'm sitting with all, like, there's one this side, one in my lap, and we're sitting and we're watching TV, or we're sitting together, that really is, centering everything back home, because everything else is just nonsense.
Yeah, it's like it's the most fulfilling moment of
right,
the day.
so you can have the most shittiest day, and you can be working with the worst people, and they can be absolutely horrible, and then as soon as I walk in my house and I see my kids, and then I remember family, and I don't have parents, so I know what it feels like not to have, family close to you, then everything just disappeared. Mama went to work, made money, and I came home, and that's, the name of the game.
Yeah. Are there any non-negotiable practices that you swear by?
I think if I'm feeling down, the best thing that I can do for myself is to find my alone time, like with no one, like all alone, do what I want to do, whether it's I paint or read or get into one of these like docu-series.
I love listening to podcasts. When they're based on mental health and wellness, it kind of gives you perspective.
Yeah. And then there's a couple of like audio meditation like videos that I found online that were really helpful, that like help you center yourself and just kind of relax. Yeah.
So I think your me time is something you would definitely prioritize, because that kind of centers you and makes you balance your day.
Yeah.
So
definitely.
I think that for all human beings, you need that alone time. You need that time to kind of reflect.
Yeah, and I think that takes a long time for some people to figure out. I think you have to go through all the ups and downs to then figure out what it is that helps you kind of center yourself,
Yeah.
realize what's important in life. And it might be something you hear, might be something you see, and then you're like, oh, okay, that makes sense. Sometimes the most basic things that we hear, that we know already, we just needed that reminder of somebody else to say, and you're like, oh, okay, yeah, I remember. Oh, yeah, I know that. Why am I not, being a certain way? Or you need to just relax inside. And
Yeah, true. So how do you manage stress and prevent burnout while juggling your career and family responsibilities?
there is no option to burn out. I think like when you
No,
work,
but as a human being, I mean, it's normal, right, to have a burnout. It could be end of a day, it could be end of a week, could be just end of the month. You feel like I'm done. I need a vacation. I need to get out. I don't need to see the work anymore. I don't need to see any more shoots, any edits, anything. You know what I mean? Like everyone has some point where you feel enough. I need a break. How do you manage that?
so in my world there is no break. If work is there, you go for it. I didn't grow up in a household where we had a lot of money, and everything that I've built and everything Daniel and I have built over the last so many years together, we literally started from the ground up. We started with negative money. So I have that feeling inside, like if work is there, then I'm going. It's not an option. It doesn't even matter if I'm tired. It doesn't matter if I'm in a bad mood. It doesn't matter if the worst things have happened. Like I've had one shoot where we were in Greece, and we found out that someone really close to us had died, and close to our team. and it was a shock because literally we were just figuring that he was going to get better.
Yeah.
And he passed away, and all of a sudden they're like, okay, now go smile, we're shooting a song. And literally everybody around me, we were all sad, but then, someone says something really messed up to you, like, you need to get your shit together. I love that guy. Like, he was someone who was close to me. He was someone that was close to, like, our entire team. And now you're telling me to get my shit together, and you're not getting your long shot? Like, there is no, I'm burnt out and I feel like shit today and you don't get to work,
But that's really difficult for any human being to constantly have a public face. But like you said, when you're at work, you can't have your moods, you can't have your emotions come out. If you're at a shoot, you can't be sad because something happened at home, your puppy's sick. You have to be with it. So I think for a human being, that must be really difficult. From the start, have that in you, how to figure it out.
Obviously, each situation is so different. It could be just you're hormonal and in a shitty mood. But like with our friend Prabhakar, he died. Like, we were so sad. How do you control? But we did figure it out, or I figured it out, and was
No, I
told
mean
to
to
get
say, like,
myself
as
together.
years have gone by, do you feel like you're wiser and you know how to switch?
No, I don't think you can switch from like real life altering situations. It's very, very difficult. You either have somebody around you, hopefully, that gives you a hug and tells you, okay, let's get it together. My beginnings of, being in the entertainment industry, and also I watched my father really struggle. Like, he was that guy who worked all day long, then came home and cooked and cleaned, and then, he did the laundry, and then he's studying in the nighttime to get his master's. And like, he was like a super dad. And so that's what I grew up with. So if he could do it, then I probably should shut my mouth and just get myself together. And, Daniel also grew up like that, watching his father work really, really hard. So I think, your family has a big impact on how you function as adults.
Yeah, absolutely. I think your parents are your first, and I think till the end, your last role models. I think your parents are the only people you look up to. So until the age of 8 and 9, we're just aping them. And then that kind of like, I think, builds our ground beliefs in our life, that this is how it should be. So if you see a hardworking parent, you feel it's very normal to be hardworking. That's how life should be, because that's what you've seen.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that, that makes a great impact on who you are as a person. I don't think many people know, what kind of parents or what kind of background you come from. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Both my parents are from here, from India. My mom's from Himachal and my father's from Chandigarh. And they migrated to Canada before I was born. And they started their life there together. And, I don't think that they had an easy life at all. But I think they made the best with what they had, and they both worked really, really hard. My father said that his mother wanted the whole family together before she passed away. And so my dad really felt that family guilt because she was in California with his sister, and it was her wish to see the whole family together, but probably one of the worst choices. I think, if I asked him now when he was alive, he would have said that was the worst decision that I ever made, moving. And because it affected our family in such a not so great way. And my mother worked really hard, but she was an alcoholic. That's how she passed away. And it really affected like her mental health a lot, moving away from everything that she knew. She wasn't like really strong. I don't think she had a lot of people to talk to. So that was always a struggle. That's why my dad worked all day, came home, cooked his dinner, and like did all these different things because he had to work really hard to make up for her not
her absence.
Yeah, being present. Even though that was really horrible, it's helped me adapt as a human being and as an adult now. And that's shaped me, have that difficulty of just being a social. I don't know how people do it. They just walk in a room and they're like social butterflies. I'm like, how do you do it? It's just so fake. It kills me. I just can't do it.
I think if there's an assumption people have about you, they would probably think that you're one of those social butterflies.
Yeah.
Let's go back to how you said it shaped you. I think it really helps shape us, and it's great to know, or it's very intriguing to know that with such a difficult household, you have that kind of confidence. You've been through different countries, different careers. You're an entrepreneur, and I don't think that's easy, considering you didn't have the standard household that everyone has. The normal middle class family where father goes to work, mother's at home looking after the kids, go to school.
Yeah.
When you have that kind of situation that you grew up in, it requires a different amount of strength, mental strength, to reach where you have.
Yeah.
So I think that's commendable that you have managed the career that you have, and
That's one
a
thing
beautiful family.
That's one thing that I promised myself when we had children, was I never want my kids to feel like I felt. Like, I want to be present. I want to be there. I don't ever want them to feel like like they don't love me enough to be there for me.
Yeah.
So why does XYZ get more prioritizing than me? Like, why doesn't she love us enough to quit? I never want my kids to ever feel like that. And I think that's why I'm so stuck with my family, and I don't really, I hold like a few really close friends close to my heart, and then the rest I don't, it doesn't bother me, because I went through so much shit that, it's all that periphery doesn't matter.
Yeah.
What matters is like the people you really love and care about, the person that you want to say, hey, I didn't hear from you for a week. Like, what's happening? Where are you? What are you doing? Let's meet. Let's figure out how we can see each other, because that's important. I recently looked up what imposter syndrome was, and I feel like as a parent, I don't have any of those feelings. But when you work in entertainment, I do feel like a lot of people feel like they need to overachieve or overwork, or feel like I wasn't good in that shot, I need to do it again, or that song was like, oh. So I read so much stuff about what this is, and I feel like a lot of people have these feelings within them. Now, does it take over my mind, body, and soul? No. Although maybe sometimes it does, because I get very upset that something's not the way it should be. But I think that's also why certain people are more successful, is that they feel like, no, this wasn't good enough, I need to try harder, or...
never satisfied.
Yeah. I don't think many actors are very satisfied. I think that we're all a little unsatisfied.
No,
and we're always trying to achieve greatness.
I think that's anyone working, and anyone working and successful. I think the pattern is that everyone needs to do better. Only that's why they're succeeding.
Right.
The need to next step. Even if you see the most successful people in the world, they're still working. Someone could be 70, someone could be 80. Right. The presidents of the world are at that age range, and they're still trying really hard. So I guess that does exist.
Yeah. But I do think that if it takes over, like, let's say your mind, body, and soul, and now you're sitting at home and saying, I'm not good enough, and I don't know what to do, and I have no friends, and no one's supporting me, and you go down this crazy rabbit hole, then maybe you should ask for help. I've never felt like I'm going down a rabbit hole like this. I think I have a lot of people around me that'll go like this, snap out of it.
Yeah.
But I also am a realist. If something doesn't go well, or I find, how do we work on it for the future? But I've never gone through a situation where it really debilitated me, that I couldn't work, or I couldn't take care of my family, or I couldn't go to a social gathering, or I couldn't see a friend, that it would keep me home.
So how do you model self-care and mental health awareness for your children?
Ooh, for my kids. Okay, I love affirmations. I think affirmations are amazing, telling them that, that they're great, they're going to have a great day today, that don't worry about anything with, like, let's say they have a spelling test. Don't worry about the spelling test. It doesn't matter to me if you pass or if you get
You don't
all
do
of them
well.
wrong.
Yeah.
You just have to try. And I think that Nisha is going to have certain issues because of her background, and she's just she's a girl, she's sensitive, and she's very, very different in how she expresses her feelings. So I always want to make Nisha understand, you don't have to be perfect. Your studies, I don't care about your studies. I just want you to be a good human being. She's extremely intelligent, but I want her to focus on just being a good human and being kind to others. And same with the boys. I think with the boys, they're so naughty and they're so crazy that teaching them in the world that we live in is not always easy, to make them realize that all the people that we're blessed to have around us helping us, that we also have to treat them with so much love and so much
respect,
care and respect. So that's always a challenge. But I do love affirmations. I think that's really great for children in this day and age, because growing up, I don't remember my mother or my father going, tell yourself you're beautiful, that you're going to have a good day, that I am the best girl, I have superpowers, and all, so many different things you can tell your kids.
Positive thinking.
Yeah.
So let's delve into a little bit of the personal aspect. What has been the most challenging aspect of maintaining your mental health while in the public eye?
I think the most challenging thing, like we talked about earlier, is, you're having a really bad day, and yet you have to walk out of your room, hair, makeup on point, smile on your face, and
You always have to please
make sure make sure you say hello and
You're polite.
polite and not be or moody with people. I think the biggest thing is to have a really good team around you when you work in entertainment, and those people who work with you all know what they need to do. They know their job, so nothing can, they know that you're in a shitty mood, and everybody has to be on point, and that obviously that helps a lot. And then I have one or two people who are always okay, smile, you're okay, everything's gonna be fine.
Yeah, it's like a reminder you're in front of the world.
Yeah, and I think what people forget out there is that we're humans and we're not robots.
Yeah, as human as anyone else.
Right, and it is okay if we have a bad day, but the thing is that they give you so much love, and I think that's what always brings it home for me, is the fans who give so much love, and they really just want 15 seconds of your time for you to say hi, to acknowledge them. And I think that's where I, in my head, go, all right, relax, get yourself together, don't worry.
Yeah, but if you see in the mental health world, if I have to see it from that aspect, it could be so difficult, because you are juggling, let's say, a mood, a day, a bad day. You could have had an argument with your husband, your children could have behaved badly, for example. I'm not saying they have, but for example, in the morning. And you have mixed emotions like any humans do, and you've gone to work, but that person who's come to see you has probably waited a year and a half to see Sunny Leone. And you acknowledging that in your head, okay, that person has come to see me for 15 minutes. I have to put on a brave front, or I have to be, my public figure self. But I think the mental challenges involved in that, or you have to be, I think, supremely evolved to be able to juggle all those emotions. Do you feel you're really evolved as a person?
I think what it comes down to is being really thankful for who you are and where you are in your life, your position, the work that you're doing. And in entertainment, I appreciate them so much I love them. So even if I'm in a really bad mood, if this is from a fan, I love this. I love it so much. I'm wearing it today. This little guy comes up to me. He's like, I got you a diamond ring. I'm like, oh my God, you are so sweet. How do you not shower that person with so much love?
Yeah.
You know, and be appreciative of who they are. And that's just pure love coming your way. So in a way, I think like my fans are there for me and I'm there for them, and our relationship together is completely different than my family or my friends.
Yeah.
Like
Of course.
the people out there, like I'm talking about my die-hard fans, the ones that really, really, truly love me. So when I meet them or see them, I met a girl once and we were in this room and she comes up to me and all of a sudden she starts bawling her eyeballs out. And we're like, oh my God, don't cry. And then the security guard who was with me, he started singing happy birthday. And the entire room, we were like, happy birthday to you. And finally got her to smile. It was not her birthday, but we all panicked. And, you just meet these like really amazing people.
Yeah.
Or, we were at an event down south and it was for special needs children. Now, even if I'm having the shittiest day, I promise you, my life is like only for them at that moment, because I don't know what they've gone through. I don't know if they're happy or not happy or struggling, and maybe that child's not struggling because maybe they don't have that complex thinking, but their family does, and their family's just wishing for Sunny Leone to give that baby a hug and love them. So these are just examples of people that I meet, and it's amazing to meet them.
That must be so empowering for you.
Yeah. So then, how do you even have a bad day after that? So I think it just comes down to me being so grateful to my fans and my fans being grateful for me, and we just are on this journey together. Besides, my personal life is completely different.
But I think in the end, it boils down to, as human beings, prioritizing. So if you prioritize your work and emotions attached to work, they overtake everything else, right? So if you have prioritized your fans, how people have come to see you, the little boy who came to see you, the little girl who's come to see you, or the people who are there waiting to applaud you or cheer you up, I think you have prioritized them over yourself.
Yeah, and
right?
That's okay for me.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because I've always been like this. I was that girl in school. I gave up all my recess breaks to go help the special needs children, or when I know that we've done things, art activities with big groups of special needs children, where I've organized like an entire art session, and my kids were there, and Daniel was there, and it was a family thing. Or helping out every Christmas, we go and we help out, give toys to all the little kids in our area and drive out there. The kids are like, what's happening? But I don't care. I want them to understand that it's not Christmas is not just about them.
Yeah,
and what they want.
Yeah, community love.
Yeah, so I think it's all important, and those little kids are so happy. Like one time we went to, there's the St. Catherine's right around the corner here. We took the kids and we got ice cream for all the children who were there, and the kids saw that and they remember. They said, "Oh yeah, we did that. We gave ice cream to everybody." And that
helps them
really
understand
nice.
Privileged, non-privileged as well.
Yeah.
And I don't mean it in a stereotypical way. I mean, like, how do you actually really support each other's mental health? Let's say he's having a really bad time. Things are not going his way. He's trying to get some work done. It's not happening. Let's say you're trying to get a movie. It's not happening. Things are not happening for each other. How do you support each other?
We talk a lot about work, or he'll get my opinions of things that are happening, and the industry is always changing. There's always things happening that are out of the control of our hands.
So you guys have really good communication?
So we try and have the best communication that we can, and I think Daniel has it the most difficult because he's the first stop. he's the one shielding me always. And I do realize that that's what he's doing, and sometimes I have to kind of be really sensitive on how I, put like certain sentences, because he's the first stop and he shouldn't feel bad because he's working really, really hard. So I do realize that when we're having conversations, or when I know he's having a bad day, instead of, sometimes I just want to be like, all right, get over it. But you can't do that in a relationship. You have to be able to go, okay, well, is there something that I can do? Is there something that can help you?
Communicate.
And
hear the other person out. Be there for them.
Yeah. So we definitely try and do that. During COVID, I think was the most difficult. I think that sequence saved our marriage.
Sequence saved their marriage. That's a great one. I agree. That was a difficult time, I think, mentally for most people, most couples, families, because it worked. There were pros and cons. One was a lot of people got to spend time with their family, which they never had. Let's say they travel a lot or they work a lot.
Yeah.
They got time at home. But the other part was too much time with your partner, too much.
It was too much time. It was too
yeah.
much time.
And then you get to see aspects of one another that you probably haven't seen or haven't experienced or kind of haven't even noticed in like 10 years of marriage or 12. And you start to see the small things. It's like, proximity. The more time I spend with you, I'll start to see the small dents. And if we have a healthy
or big
distance,
dents.
or big dents. And then if you have a healthy distance, then you see the healthy stuff and it stays there.
Yeah.
So I think that's human. That's very human.
Yeah.
Have you ever sought professional help for your mental health, for your family, or for your relationship? Like ever seen a counselor, therapist, or a psychologist just to kind of get clarity or perspective?
I have not, but I think that they're very important people who really help you work through your issues. But we did see a family coach once, and we were having a hard time, I guess, figuring out Noah's baby language. Maybe it was like a year old, and we couldn't, because there were 3 of them, it was really overwhelming. And she came over and she said, the problem is not Noah, the problem is you two. And we're like, okay, great. And then she gave us tips on how to speak to him. And as parents, what we do is our children are doing something and we'll storm into the room and go, okay, now it's time to go eat. And we grab our child, pick them up when they're small. You grab them, you pick them up, you take them to the dinner table. They're like, what just happened?
Yeah.
And that's such a normal thing to think about.
Yeah.
And we do that in our normal lives. We're like,
Yeah.
okay, in 5 minutes I'm going to go have dinner, or at 6:30 it's dinner time.
I
know that, but he didn't know that. So then we're like, how do we handle this situation? Because he's crying, and how do we help him? She came in and she gave us these tips, and Daniel went outside to go test it out because he didn't believe her that we had a problem, and it was not Noah. Noah is perfect. He's a perfect 1-year-old.
That's every parent always thinking the child is perfect, our family is perfect. But if something has gone wrong, just help us tweak it.
It was our it was mine and Daniel's communication skills with the children, because who has 3 children at one time? We did. And so after she gave us a few tips, it really, really helped, and it really increased our ability to communicate with the children in a little different way. And this 5-minute thing really worked.
So how do you handle moments of self-doubt or anxiety, especially before big career moments?
I think anxiety comes with any really big moment. I think the last moment where I had a lot of anxiety or self-doubt, or really just was like, what?
Butterflies in your stomach, you don't know how you're feeling, you don't know what's going to happen.
I don't know what I'm doing here type of feeling was during Kennedy, and when I was at Cannes promoting it and being there. I think that was one of the most surreal moments of my career so far. And myself, Daniel, and Sunny Leone, who's my manager, we're all together. I think we all kind of felt like that. Like, how the fuck did we just end up on this red carpet, um, knowing everything that we do? And I think that self-doubt was because nothing this big had ever happened in my career.
How did you handle it? What did you
cried.
do?
I cried a lot. I did so many interviews, and in doing most of these interviews, I would start crying. I would tear up because I'm like, I have been through hell and back on so many different levels, like people like wanting to commit mass suicide if I showed up somewhere, which makes no sense. And then that same political group saying, no, we would love to welcome her here now that my campaign is over. And, you know, being not welcomed in different places to being welcomed at one of the biggest platforms of entertainment. And
That must be so emotionally elevating.
it was beyond amazing. And I cried a lot, and I think that was like talking about it over and over again really did help. And this comes back to your imposter syndrome. I really had that, I think, there. Going, what am I doing here? How did I end up here? And do I deserve this? And, you know, I think that it was like God just shining a light and showing me something so beautiful. And we worked so hard. I probably cried now. And we had worked so hard to get to feeling like we belong. And that was the biggest feeling of, I do belong here. I do deserve to be here. I am good at what I do. And this is the proof of that. No one can take this away from me.
Yeah.
And I'm crying now. And no one can take those moments away. And it really was a really surreal, amazing moment.
What advice would you give to other working mothers who are struggling to balance it all? How beautifully you are.
I think the biggest advice that I could give somebody is to structure your day. Really do plan it out. Take the time in the evening or wherever you get like a few hours and just plan out your week or your day or
your month.
Your meals. What are the kids, if somebody's helping you cook for the kids, like what are they going to eat? Really plan it out and take control of those aspects. Because once you're in control of the entire day and you're getting all the help that you need to, obviously, but once you plan it out, it makes life so much easier. And, you know, I know that my kids are going to be up at 7 o'clock in the morning, whether I want them to or not.
I think predictability makes it easier, right?
Yeah.
So uncertainty makes us anxious and predictability makes us comfortable. Right. So what you're saying is absolutely right. The more predictable it becomes, even for your children, like even for my son has a set sleeping time. So I don't even have to tell him. And he knows that he's tired or he needs to go to bed. Yeah. It just makes it predictable and easier for the parent or the child. Right. So I think to balance it with all the aspects of how many of children one has, I think that predictability makes it easier, right?
It does. And I really do encourage mothers out there to take the time to make that schedule. And it might be hard for the first 3-4 days.
Yeah.
But I promise you, on day 5 or day 7, however long it takes, you're going to be like, why did I not do this sooner? Yeah. And that's really important for parents, I think, too. And that's one of the things that helps with our mental health is knowing that at 8:30 or 9 o'clock, Daniel and I get alone time.
Yeah, same for me.
You know,
when you know your house is quiet and everything's done with, your kids are off to bed, and then that's your time.
Yeah.
So I think our parents are our first mentors. I think realizingly or unrealizingly as humans, when we're born, our parents are the first role models, like I said. And we kind of take up everything from them. So describing how you did your parents' work, what was your relationship like with your mother transitioning from a baby to a teenager?
So as a child, I mean, my parents were great. Like, they really did give us whatever they could give us. They did whatever we needed. It wasn't until early adolescence when I realized that there was like a serious problem in our house. And I didn't quite understand like why my parents were fighting, and um, it wasn't until we um, moved from Canada to Michigan uh, where everything just blew up. Like, we have a really, really serious problem um, with my mother, and that was really tough growing up. Like, it was very, very difficult.
I think to have a parent struggle with any kind of addiction can be very difficult on a teenager, especially a girl,
Yeah.
because we have our hormones coming in. I think because we're changing hormonally, our bodies are changing, we're trying to figure the world, we're trying to fit in, you move places,
Yeah.
that would be so difficult. And additionally, then you have a parent dealing with addiction. So, did at any point did you think that she's the reason why you are who you are today?
Um, I have learned over time, or on my, journey of how I feel about my mother, is I have pulled all the good things that I could, um, and those are the things I want to instill in my family. And those things that I didn't like, I have swore to myself I never want to be like that. And to answer your question is absolutely, it shapes who you are, because I know exactly what kind of person I want to be in life and what kind of person I don't want to be in life. And there have been moments, like as an adult, where I recognized certain patterns of behavior, and it just scares the life out of me. And when I recognize, like, oh, that's not who I want to be, I recheck myself. And, I also have Daniel there, who also helps with that.
Yeah, I think
He's like, I don't like this person. I'm like, I'm sorry. But, I really think that it really did shape who I am. And, everything that my mother and father did, I forgive them. I have let go of the idea that, I'm not going to get them back, and I should just hold on to those good memories of them, and just really know that, like, my father smoked cigarettes. My father died of cancer. And
how old were your parents when they passed? Or how old were you?
I was really young. I was in my 20s. And
When both of them passed?
yeah. So my mother passed away first, and then my father passed away within like a year and a half. He found out he had cancer.
Oh, God.
And that was really, really tough.
You actually
I
lose
think,
both parents.
I think he died of a broken heart. He was really, like,
Attached to your mom.
he was just devastated. He took out every living object in our house. And then after my mother died, our family dog had died. And then my dad was left, and he found out he had cancer. Like, it was just a really, really bad time. And so when my mother died, Daniel came into my life. And he really was like that angel. And my dad loved him because my dad was an engineer, and Daniel's background is engineering. So he also has a degree in engineering. So they would like bond.
Connect on those things.
Yeah, so they bonded on, certain levels that I could never bond with either one of them on, which was good, because
Yeah.
I wanted my dad to really like Daniel. And so he did. He really did like him a lot. And that was really nice to see. So I think like everything that you grow up with really does shape who you are.
Absolutely. It makes us who we are.
I never want my kids to ever see that side. Like, I don't want them. I want them to feel struggle meaning the struggle of finding their own paths. Like, I don't want them to just have everything, even though that's going to be a really, really difficult thing to do, based on how our lifestyle is. But I do want them to really work hard and understand the value of hard work, which I don't believe that a lot of young people feel.
Nowadays, yeah.
They don't. And I think that's important. So I guess we'll see. We'll have to figure out in many years from now what kind of children I raised.
I know you have a beautiful family. I've seen the dynamics. I have, spent time with you guys, so I know the relationship you have with your children is beautiful. Our childhood shapes our adulthood and our mental stability. Do you think because you met Daniel so early in your life and you lost your parents so early in your life, do you think Daniel has been a great part of the learning experience?
He is definitely the reason I didn't end up on a completely different path, for sure. Um, it was like God had taken my mother away from me, but he had also given me Daniel. And he really was the light in my life at that moment because it was really bad. I think it's one of the worst feelings when you lose your mother.
Absolutely.
And if you lose your mother at a young age, it affects you differently. It's not like she lived this,
Fulfilled, happy life.
like a fulfilled life and she passed away from old age, and we all understand. It wasn't like that at all. And then to lose my dad right after, it was like he was the one holding myself, my brother, up, like literally with his big long arms. He had me on one side and my brother on the other side, and just literally took care of us through that entire time. And his family is beautiful and very, very supportive, and they really did teach him how to be the most amazing man ever. And I'm so thankful to both of his parents for making him who he is. Yeah.
Let's lighten up the room a little and get into some fun conversation where I ask you a few lighthearted
What do you mean? This has all been so much fun. Right.
Yeah, well, we're gonna ask you some very lighthearted questions.
I'm really bad at this. I'm just warning you now.
Okay, so spill the tea. What's your secret guilty pleasure for de-stressing after a long day?
A glass of wine or the spa.
I like the spa. We've all had those mom brain moments. What's your most embarrassing one that you can laugh about now?
I have many of these all the time. The worst one, which Daniel always reminds me that don't do this, is on group chats, something weird will come out or some weird typo, and that's the worst. Because everyone on a huge mommy group, a school group, or a family group just read what I wrote, and it's bad. I don't usually talk shit, but it's just something like not good.
If your life was a reality show, what would be its dramatic title? One title.
Doing it my way.
Oh, that's a good one. Doing it my way. I like that. Your house is on fire, but all the living things are safe. You have time to grab 3 items. What are they?
Okay, living things meaning family and kids.
Yeah,
right?
family, kids, dog, pets, anything. Anything living.
All right. The things that I would take: photo albums, maybe a pair of Jendies, and I don't know, my wedding ring.
Oh yeah. Would you have that on?
Well, maybe not.
Okay. If you could trade lives for a day with any other celebrity mom, who would it be and why?
With a celebrity mother, I would, a mother who I would like to, I guess, be in her house for one day would be Angelina Jolie.
Yeah. With 7 kids or 8 kids, I think.
I will come back from that day going, oh, you 3 are so easy.
Sunny, thank you so much for this insightful conversation. I know that you balance so many things, and I have gotten to know you personally recently. So I know that you're handling your family life, your career, you're an entrepreneur, all these aspects beautifully. I think the one thing you can tell our listeners that is the most important in having a balanced life.
I think it's having good people around you, realizing the things that are actually important and the things that are not important. I call it cutting the fat. So I used to be a meat eater, but if you are a meat eater, you'll understand this. When you get a beautiful piece of meat, you're going to cut out all that fat to get the piece of meat that you need the most. That's the healthiest part. So I think life is kind of like that. I think if you cut out the fat, and cut out the BS, then you're going to be a lot happier. Don't overthink things. Keep the things and people around you that keep you happy, because the rest of it actually doesn't matter in the long game of your life.
Yeah, I think focus on what really matters.
Yes.
You're right, because we are surrounded by things that don't matter.
Exactly. And we get consumed by the things that don't matter.
I think that's absolutely amazing. We'll close on that. This has been Therapy Diaries. Until next time, take care of yourselves and each other.